What makes the struggle harder and more painful is to know so many of my fellow citizens, including so many of the people I put my life at risk to defend, are downplaying or outright denying what happened. I feel like I went to hell and back to protect them and the people in this room. But too many are now telling me that hell doesn't exist or that hell actually wasn't that bad.
People need to understand the severity of and the magnitude of the event that was happening that day. We were all fighting for our lives to give you guys a chance to go home to your family, to escape.
And for those of us in the Capitol Police who serve and revere this institution and who love the Capitol building, it was the saddest day for us as well. More than 6 months later, January 6th still isn't over for me.
Officers Fanone, Gonell, and Dunn speaking about how the memories from January 6th have not faded at all from their minds. The Capitol Police Chief saying afterward that he's proud of the officers who had the courage to share their stories and, quote, equally proud of all who fought like hell to preserve our democracy. Joining us now, Congressman Eric Swalwell of California, who helped lead the effort in the spring to have Officer Fanone sit down with GOP leader McCarthy. We know that happened. Officer Fanone's request of McCarthy didn't come true at all. I wonder what you thought watching these men who you've come to know very well pleading for the truth to simply be respected and heard and believed by everyone, including in that building.
I'm so grateful for those guys. I'm so grateful for the men and women who fought in hand-to-hand combat that day to make sure that every American's vote was counted and that lives were saved. And they gave the ground truth, Nicole, of what happened that day. Because right now, Kevin McCarthy and Donald Trump are trying to erase their heroism. And the heroism of those cops will not be erased from the story of America, and that was ensured today with that testimony.
Where does the committee's work need to go next to sort of stay on this high ground and this sort of adhering to the truth, relying on firsthand witnesses?
I think Harry Dunn said it best. Who hired the hitman? That's the question that needs to be answered. You know, those individuals, as we poured through their FBI statements and as we prepared our case for the impeachment trial in the Senate, it was so obvious that to a T, they all said they were called there, they were aimed at the Capitol by Donald Trump. And so understanding, was Donald Trump the one who hired the hitman, so to speak, and what other individuals helped him? What did Donald Trump not do as the Capitol was under attack? So much more that needs to be answered. But, contrast what happened today with Democrats working with reasonable Republicans to find the truth, to honor the heroes. With Kevin McCarthy's GOP, you have Elise and Wonderland, Ms. Stefanik going down this conspiracy rabbit hole, blaming Nancy Pelosi. You have Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz sympathizing with the terrorists and coddling the cop killers. Really a contrast of two different parties today and how they honor America's heroes.
Yeah, I mean, Liz Cheney called the Republicans a disgrace in the harshest terms possible. I wonder what you think the Republicans will do as the days go on. The public sees two well-known branded Republican household names. I mean, Liz Cheney is a known, if you know anything about Liz Cheney, she and her father are sort of, typical standard conservatives in this country. I peeked over on Fox News. They were taking a lot of the hearing today. What do you think Kevin McCarthy so desperately didn't want his supporters and Fox viewers to see or hear? And what do you think he'll do?
Well, Kevin McCarthy does not want Americans to know the truth about that day because the truth really is aimed at him because he has enabled the big lie with Donald Trump. But Nicole, like you and I, we both grew up in Bay Area Republican families. This is not the Republican Party that my parents told me about. This is not the party of Ronald Reagan. My dad was a police officer. He's horrified by anybody who would choose to honor Donald Trump to dishonor the police. And that's what they're seeing, whether it's voting against security assistance to fortify the Capitol, whether it's voting against the gold medals for the officers, whether it's saying that the officer who killed Ashley Babbitt was an executioner, whether it's saying the FBI was responsible, or walking away from the Select Committee. Time after time, they are dishonoring the police to honor Donald Trump.
What have 2 impeachment trials taught you and your colleagues about how and when and how aggressively to pursue subpoenas of officials?
That when it comes to finding the truth, there's certainly the pressures of time, but there's also weighing that against the responsibility to history. That if we do not cement this story, the ground truth, so to speak, it will be erased by people who have, an alternative motive. And so making sure that we get every relevant witness in there and that we fight to make sure that that testimony is secured, that Congress's oversight capabilities as a co-equal branch of government is honored. That's so important. And the Select Committee does not have the same pressures that we had in the Senate. And so I really respect Chairman Thompson saying no witnesses off the table.